So Maura is a second-generation realtor. I'm just going to read it because this is so good. She's a second-generation realtor who combines her love for the industry with her passion for education. Before getting into the real estate business in 2001, Maura previously taught at Florida State University and the University of Phoenix. She is an active agent with RE/MAX around Atlanta, leading her team and representing buyers and sellers on a day-to-day basis, and considers education, both clients and other real estate agents, an important part of her role as a realtor. And the most important part, Maura loves bacon, bourbon, beagles, and her husband Ben, not necessarily in that order. She got a B thing.
I love it.
So this panel is about apps. So I wanted to just go down real quick and just get everybody's top favorite. We didn't prep for this, by the way, at all. Their top favorite app. I don't care if it's social. I don't care if it's for your groceries, for whatever it is. So Nobu, you can go first. Your most favorite app ever.
Ever?
Ever.
Ever in the history of the world.
Yeah, I know.
History of
I know. Dropbox would probably be my favorite app. Does so much and has become a hub for other apps. But an app that has quickly become one of my favorites. And by the way, your calendar, by the way, on your phone, whether it's iPhone or it's Android, is going to be extremely important going forward. Because Apple, Android, all these app developers, they want to know where you are and who you're doing it with. And one of the apps, it's weird.
Who are you doing it with?
Yeah, no. Not that.
This
kind
is
of
rated X.
But one of the apps that I love is an app I've just played around. It's called Refresh, and what's cool about it is that once you connect with somebody and you create an appointment for them, so say you're meeting a new client, what it does is it searches out for, based on their email address, who they are. It's creepy, who they are on Facebook, and then what it does is it surfaces all the commonalities that you've got. Hey, you both like Shawshank Redemption. You both like the Atlanta Braves. It talks about their last blog post. It talks about the creepy stuff that you guys are thinking about right now that's shared on Facebook. But what's cool about it is that you can, if somebody's been talking about, hey, I'm meeting with a realtor tonight, and you get 25 people to talk about it, you see that last post, and you have actually something to talk about, right? It's creepy, but I thought it was really cool, and man, it works really well.
But our clients are looking us up on Facebook.
Absolutely.
And looking and Googling us. So, I mean, we look every lead and every client up on Facebook, and we Google them. And more often than not, we have mutual friends, and then that's a thing to talk about. So this just sounds like it's going to make it even easier.
That's what it is. The last app I had is like, you know this, and this. We knew college friends. We had college friends and we just hit it off. Made business talks a lot easier.
Great. Brandi?
My favorite is probably Dropbox and PBS Kids. I have a 2-year-old, so
Excellent.
PBS Kids is pretty, I mean, it works everywhere. It's free, the videos, but Dropbox for business.
What do your clients think about that?
PBS Kids for my
PBS
clients?
Kids,
They love it. They have their kids, I'm like, here's Dr. Seuss in the Hat, Cat in the Hat, that's it. I had that $625,000 house, and they had 2 kids. They left their technology in the car, and I'm like, oh, here's my phone. Here's PBS Kids. They loved it.
Awesome. Maura?
I love Dropbox. I love Evernote. But I think my favorite app of all time is SlyDial. Does everyone know what SlyDial is? Okay. It's SLYDIAL. And it's not for the reason that you think. I know I said earlier I hate talking on the phone, and I do. But it's not so much to avoid the clients I don't like. So what it does is it allows you to either, for free, call a contact in your phone, or you can dial a number, but you dial it through the app. So you open up the app, and it says, do you want to SlyDial a contact, or do you want to SlyDial a number? And you can only SlyDial someone's cell phone, but it rings directly to their voicemail, and it never rings. So if you've ever been in a place where you have full service, and you look down and your phone's like, you have a voicemail, you didn't have a service issue. That person SlyDialed you because they didn't want to talk to you. They just want to leave you a message. So the reason that I like it is not because I don't want to talk to my clients, because obviously I need to. But if I want to wish somebody a quick happy birthday, if I want to tell them, hey, we've called this agent twice for feedback. They said they'll get back to us tomorrow. I don't really have anything new to tell you right now. Or God forbid it's the agent who calls you for feedback and doesn't email you. Annoying. But I can SlyDial them and say, here's the feedback on the house. I'm so sorry that I missed you. You must be really busy today. Here's the feedback on your listing. And then I don't have to get into a 45-minute conversation of, what do you mean your clients didn't like it? It's a great house. But it allows you to ring directly into their voicemail without their phone ringing. And so it's a time saver more than anything. It allows you to talk to people when you need to, but leave them a message when you don't really need to.
Yep.
So if any of you guys call Maura and you happen to get a voicemail back, you know how she did it? Now I know. Thanks, Maura.
Yeah.
Do I have to give one? Can I give a couple?
Well, we're not. It's not like 5 minutes. We're going to do other stuff.
Fine. All right. I guess one of my favorite, obviously, Dropbox again. I copycat, I know. Evernote, I certainly love. There's several other apps which I can certainly tell you about, but I'm not allowed to. So.
That's right. Follow the instructions. That's how it works.
Oh,
So now I'd like to talk maybe specifically about a productivity and organization app. I know that may still fall under the Dropbox, and we didn't prepare for this, but just for you guys to have an idea, what productivity, the calendar was actually brilliant. I think no one ever mentions. It's like I've got my calendar right here on my phone, and I'm going. So we'll start with you, Jay.
well, if you want to talk about productivity, I think the first word that comes to mind is Google. Being able to leverage Google Apps is amazing. I mean, just the concept of the calendaring system where you can, extract the information online and at the same time have it synced with you on the phone or on your tablet or anywhere else makes perfect sense to me. So that's probably the one big app, and Evernote obviously is another one that I've never done without.
Does everybody know what Evernote is or use Evernote? Do you want to talk a little bit about?
Sure. Imagine a notebook on steroids. That's Evernote. So imagine where you basically have a physical notebook you're writing information on. It could be anywhere from notes that you've taken in a conversation with a client to websites to pictures to video, having all that information compiled in one place that you can access from here. And once you put that information in here, it's going to sync everywhere else you have an account. Pretty cool.
So the Android version of that could be OneNote too. I mean, if my assistant is a OneNote user, she does everything in OneNote because it syncs to her phone, it syncs to her computer, and she insists I use it, and she's realized I'm not going to. So OneNote.
But the really cool thing about it too is
The share version.
Well, no. Yes.
Fine.
The email version, or the email address. So you get a specific email address that you can blind copy, say, any emails that you're sending to a client. So if your Gmail or whatever email program you're using has a capacity, a maximum capacity, and you need to clean it out every once in a while, you can archive by blind copying your Evernote email address on all of your transactional emails between a client or a co-oping agent. It stores them all into that notebook in Evernote. So you've got a running commentary. So you've archived all of your communication, and if you get sued in 2 years, you aren't going to go back and be like, oh, crap, I deleted all those emails. I wish I had them. You do have them because you've stored them under that transaction in that notebook in Evernote.
And Evernote basically it's an amazing app because they've done a lot of partnering with a lot of different companies, so a lot of information can be pulled into it. As an example, I have an SMS app that allows me to have contact people on the web, pulling all my texts from here, but at the same time, because it's linked in with Evernote, all my text messages get pulled right into Evernote, which is really, really cool if you think about it, and it can integrate with a number of different apps. So. It'll geocode it.
That's optical character recognition. So if you take a picture, this is one of the cool things when it first came out. You could take a picture of your grocery list, and then you could go in and search it, and it'll find the items that are written in that picture. Pretty amazing.
That's cool. The other thing that's really cool about Evernote that I love is the idea of the sharing capability. And you say, well, why is that important? Well, imagine you have your iPad. You have Evernote open, and you sit and turn to your client and say, why don't you tell me what you like and dislike about this property? They put all the information in, and then you can share it with them. So you can actually literally have a conversation back with them electronically.
Brandi, do you have a favorite productivity aside from Dropbox?
Aside from Dropbox, it's really just my calendar, and just actually pretty basic, the notes section of my iPhone. Because when I'm done, it emails my assistant, and she knows what I want done. So it's pretty simple.
Awesome. Nobu?
Yeah, for me, when I was an agent, the one thing that I did was at orientation. I may be one of those guys that, okay, I am one of those guys. Frankly, I don't use an app if my clients aren't using it. It's a complete waste of time. So what I did was, if my clients were using Dropbox, and if my mom can use Dropbox, so by the way, you guys can use Dropbox. Evernote, same thing. My mom uses that. My mom is not tech savvy. She's retired. So she's got plenty of time to nerd out. But what I did when I was an agent was I organized my clients' real estate search apps on their iPhone, on their Android phone. You can make folders on their, and the average person's iPhone, you look at them, it's a mess. They're like, hey, where's that home that you're looking at? They got to swipe 5 screens over to find that one real estate app. What I did was I organized that, and what I did was I added my website. Because you can take your website, any website that's out there, and add it as a bookmark. So it looks like an app within that folder. Just made a bookmark so that when people were looking, they knew to go to my website as well. So that's the one thing that I did. It's almost a waste of time to try to get folks to change what they've been doing for 6 months. The one thing that I did train my clients on was DocuSign. When you're in multiple offer situations, sometimes when you're, and it could be Incident Solutions, whatever it is that you guys are doing, train your clients on how to do e-signatures, because that 5 minutes that it takes for you to write an offer might be the difference between you getting that home and you not getting that home. So I trained my clients on how to do that. And what's cool about it was that I asked them, you ready to DocuSign? They're like, yes. They knew that they were ready to go. It was a psychological thing. It was awesome.
That's cool.
My assistant has my .loop app, so it's there, and she swears by it. She loves it.
Turn it in
Yeah, I don't have it because that's what her job is.
So I was thinking, do you want to go personal for a little bit? What are your personal favorite fun apps? Or
I don't know. The business apps to me are fun.
Work?
I mean,
Yeah.
my sons will grab my phone and they're like, Daddy, you have no games on your phone. Sorry, buddy. That's why you have the iPad. But I'd say, one of the cool apps that I've seen come along was actually by a realtor, a broker actually in North Carolina. It's called Go Connect. In fact, we talked about it.
Yeah.
And it was built by a realtor for the mindset of a realtor, and it's amazing what the app does because it allows you to transition from the starting of an actual transaction, following it all the way through, and everything from tasks oriented to, and you can template the tasks. So, say as an example, you had 7 certain tasks you had to do in a buyer transaction. As soon as you created it, it automatically threw that template in. So it's a wonderful app, and it just became available on Android, and it's already on the iPhone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's free. Yeah. Go Connect. I actually just was reading an article on MSN Business or something, one of those, 10 apps that'll change your life. And there's one that I think all realtors should have called Horizon. And how many of you either use video or shoot video or want to get into shooting video, like want to use video more in your business? My biggest pet peeve is videos that are shot vertically, right? Because when you upload them to YouTube, you've got this black bar on either side because it wants it to be shot in horizon or landscape. So when Andrew was showing that video earlier today, I said, well, that's a great video if only it wasn't vertical. So this app forces the picture into landscape mode. So even if you're holding your phone like this, because this feels the most natural, it forces the picture to be landscape. So you never ever have to train yourself or remember to turn it this way ever again. So I thought, for agents who are just starting out in video, who are shooting up and down because this is how we like to hold our phones, it takes away that learning curve, and it looks a little amateurish when you're long and skinny, and when you upload it into YouTube, and then when you're watching one that's vertical, my instinct is to turn it, and then the whole thing turns, and now it's long and skinny again. So I think that's a really cool app that forces it into landscape, regardless of how you hold your phone. Video.
Brandi, did you have a?
So just for fun, I'm really into pictures. So I like the app Over because I can take a picture and put a layer on top of it. So especially if it's a client and they're at their closing, I can write first closing, and then I text it to them, and what do? They put it all over their social aspects of it. With my brand or Instagram or wherever. So I like Over for pictures.
Cool.
For me, I like anything that makes my life easier, and the ones that make my life easier for my clients are awesome. I love the augmented reality ones like Autodesk Home Styler and Paint My Place. What's cool about it is that you take a picture of any room, anything, as long as it's clear and bright. And what you can do is you change the paint colors. You can style the house however you want it. You can take the carpeting out and add hardwood floors. I have a friend of mine, now that I'm not in real estate, it's actually awesome to provide. My upstairs neighbor is an annoying dude. Anybody have a client that's like, they can't make a decision on anything because of what they've seen in the listing that they were at? He couldn't get over the fact that there was hardwood floors that were too dark for him. So I opened up the app. I took the picture right out of the MLS, right, the display on the MLS, put it in the app, and he went for hours while he was sitting next to me with beers, changing the style of flooring. He ended up buying that house, right? Well, why is it that we don't have those apps or tell our clients, hey, there's some of these older houses that are out there. What you may want to do is download some of these apps to make yourselves, or to style that home how you like and see if you want to buy it.
It's the HGTV problem. It's the, oh my God, I hate blue. I can't buy that house because they used blue paint in that bedroom.
Yeah, I mean, what's awesome about some of the Paint My Place app, you use real paint. You can actually go and buy that paint at Lowe's or whatever it is that does it. It's bare paint that you can do it. Home Depot has an, IKEA has an app. Use the apps, man. It makes your life easier.
Did you have a question?
Autodesk Home Styler. Autodesk Home Styler allows you to stage a house, essentially. Change the paint colors, do everything with the flooring. It's pretty trippy.
I really like ThingLink, ThingLink. I don't have an example of it up. We can pull it up later. ThingLink. So it's a website and it's also an app, and it allows you to make photos interactive. So obviously you couldn't use it like on the MLS where all the photos are static, but if you uploaded a photo of a picture to your blog or your website, it gives you the ability to add a photo within a photo or a video within a photo or text within a photo. So for example, you could take a picture of a backyard and then put a little icon in at the kitchen window where when they run their mouse over that icon, they can see their view if they were to stand at the kitchen window and look out at the backyard. So you can, or, if you have clients who say, I wish I knew what was through that door, you could take a picture and it gives them a little icon. And same thing, you can add a little video intro. So it would be a really great way to introduce or to showcase unique properties, for example, on your blog, where you can have, maybe it's a really phenomenal kitchen or a really amazing backyard. You can have yourself or the homeowner shoot a little video intro and then show what is through the doorway or what is through the window or some text. And there's I have an example on my website. If you go to mauraneill.com/thinglink, you can play around with the kitchen example.
If you're paying for marketing, you better be syncing it to the cloud. If you have pay somebody to do virtual tours, share a Dropbox folder with that guy and have him dump those pictures into a folder for you. Make those people, if you're doing virtual tours via YouTube video, you make sure that all that stuff is synced. That makes ThingLink way more effective because you can put all that stuff together in 5 minutes before you do an open house. ThingLink. ThingLink.
Oh, yeah. Or were you saying Paint My Place? Paint My Place.
Only because we're in Atlanta, when you guys want to talk about Waze? Are you guys familiar with? Not only because, but do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, and this is this whole idea about big data. What Waze is it turns. It may not be legal now. That's a big problem, but it turns.
We love illegal apps.
So say you're driving down the highway, and what happened this morning, right? Sandy is like, hey, there was a wreck on 285 North, right on the exit. What happens with Waze is that you can actually go and take a picture of that and actually say, hey, there's a wreck on 285 whatever, and it actually will, it'll put that on GPSs. It'll put that everywhere so that your friends will know that there's a wreck at 285 North, don't do it. The problem is that in many places it's illegal to run around with your phone on, but Waze is awesome, and Google just bought it, right? Google bought it, or
so, yeah.
Google bought it. It's freaky.
Right.
It's creepy.
I think you can say if there's like roadblocks, stop.
Potholes.
Police.
Yeah.
Potholes. You can actually put potholes. What's cool about it is
where they're doing speed traps.
Yeah.
Speed traps, police roadblocks, Waze.
Waze, W-A-Z-E.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, totally
Wow.
creepy.
What else we got?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we all to be looking out for app-wise is that you're going to be controlling your house via an app very soon.
Right.
You know, Nest just got bought by Google. Nest wants to know what temperature you guys keep your house at and how it coordinates with the weather, and that on average people reduce their AC by this much during the. It's creepy what Google wants to do. But AT&T Home Life in Chicago sells for $65 a month a complete package where you control your house via an app on your iPhone or your iPad. Now, as a realtor, the questions my wife is already getting is, how much of value does this add? Hey, I'm hanging a $400 thermostat with a $200 CO2 detector on my house. Does that add $1,000 worth of value to my house? No, but it's kind of a cool factor. In fact, that you should probably take it down and replace it. So those are the kind of things, to me, your apps being controlled by, or your house being controlled by apps, prepare for it now. New construction, those guys are all over it. That's going to be a part of a home construction from here on out.
What about Key.me? Does anyone know about KeyMe?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So KeyMe is really neat. It's Key.me on online, and then KeyMe, you can scan your keys. So it takes as long as you have a solid background. So what a great service for your clients, right? Scan their keys, and then when they lock themselves out of their house, or like I was a chronic lock myself out of my house, forget my keys when I was in high school, and I had to learn all sorts of creative ways to break into my own home. But this will, they deliver a key to you within an hour. Now, obviously that part's not free, but the app is free, so you can scan in your keys. We put this into a list of cool apps that we give our clients, like apps you may not know about. We put in DocuSign Ink and Sign My Pad because those are free signature. That if they get addicted to DocuSign, they want to start e-signing all their kids' permission slips and stuff. And KeyMe is one of those because if they lock themselves out of their house, they'll be able to make a key. A locksmith can make a key and deliver it to you wherever you are within an hour.
Want to do some questions?
Sure. Yeah. We have a couple minutes.
Anybody have any app-specific questions to wrap this up?
Stephanie.
What apps are people using to keep up with blogs? I use Feedly, but I don't love it. I'd love to do
To read, like an RSS reader?
yeah, like for MRs. My favorite one I like to flip through blogs.
So the question was, what app are people using to keep up with blogs that they're reading? Stephanie uses Feedly, but she doesn't love it. Blog Lovin'.
I like Flipboard.
I love Flipboard.
Flipboard is
No, they acquired Zeit.
Zeit's
So
going out,
Flipboard
yeah.
is good to
Flipboard.
say.
Yeah, and that's what I think. If you're blogging, take a damn picture and add it to it because
For copyright?
it makes the visual. That, but it makes your content visual, right? So yeah, I use Flipboard for that, and I just plug it in. That's all I use Flipboard for.
Anybody else? Any questions for the app people? Multiple?
There's not an app that's on the phone, but there is an app actually on the web. There's actually two different apps, and it's called, it's called that. So look that up.
Wow, that's great.
I can't
think we
remember
should
the
close
name
with
of it.
that.
I can get you information, but it's really cool. Essentially what it is, it allows you to put it on your website, and you can click on it and say a person wants to see 4 or 5 different listings or 10 listings. It'll tell you the fastest route to get to all of them and which route to go to.
And Google Maps allows you to use Google Maps without an internet connection now. So if you can do multiple point, and Google actually automatically does quickest way to get there. Automatically does that for you, and then you can send a link to somebody's car now. You can send a link to Evernote, things like that.
You can also manually reorder.
Yes.
So if you wanted to move one, you could just slide them.
Well, yeah, you can use also Glimpse. I like the Glimpse app, so when I'm going somewhere, so somebody can see exactly where I am, how far away, client stuff like that.
And that's a great safety. It's Glimpse, GLYMPSE. I use that. I give, if I'm driving, long distance out of town, I give my husband or my family an idea of where I am. You can share your GPS location for up to 4 hours at a time. Also, if you're meeting a person you've never met at a house, please don't do that. Have them meet you at your office. But if you do that, make sure that you're glimpsing somebody. Share your glimpse location with, I've jokingly told my husband, I'm going to go meet this couple and show them this house, and if I'm going to set it up on Glimpse, and if you see that I've crossed a state line, you know that I've been kidnapped, so, call somebody. But it's a good way for safety or to let a client, I think Dale Chumbley once famously said, I knew my client and I were going to get along just fine because his client was running late for an appointment and glimpsed him. Said, I'm running late, here's a look at where I am. And you can send it to them via text or email, and they click a link and they can see exactly where you are on the map and how close they are to their destination. So it's a great way for you can legitimately tell them that you're stuck in traffic because look, you can see where I am on the map.
There was an Apple version. Well, there's another one that's very similar to that app, but the wonderful thing about the app, and I can't remember the name of it, essentially what it did is when it came within a certain distance, it would email you and say, Jeff is 15 minutes away.
Oh, it did it automatically.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, see.
Oh, so it was you.
You're stalking your kids. Awesome.
Yeah. What was her name? Because I dated some girl. No, forget it.
Zeitgeist is another great app to allow you to. A lot of the stuff is on RPR too, but Zeitgeist pulls in your location and then gives you all the public data on it. The Republicans versus Democrats, male versus female, demographic breakdown, the top check-in. So if it's a movie theater or whatever, Zeitgeist is great. Huh?
It's SITEGEIST. Zeitgeist.
Put that at if you do an open house, put that on your iPad. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah,
Because they're going to ask you that demographic information, right? Like, what are the neighbors like? What kind of people live around here?
Like this.
And you can say, here you go. It's iPhone. Like if you,
iPhone and Android.
it's iPhone and Android, but when you pull it up on your tablet, it's the little tiny version because it's meant for So, but just pull it up on the iPad and say, well, you can look at all the demographic information right here, and then you're not, breaking the law. Zeitgeist. SITEGEIST. Time for one more question.
Yes.
Yeah, Dropbox.
Dropbox.
Is probably the best.
Yeah,
and easiest.
Dropbox. But a lot of people use Dropbox individually or singularly. So the idea is to keep information for themselves. But imagine if you had other people involved in the transaction. It could be a buyer, it could be the attorney, it could be the other listing broker, and you shared that.
My
So
accountant.
yeah, or accountant.
I share my Dropbox folder with my accountant. All my receipts go directly to him, and he manages my receipts throughout the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally have kept information on mine for the last 10 years of closings. I could pull up right on my Dropbox, and if you said I need a copy of the note, I could have it to you in a minute.
Yeah, we keep a copy of every piece of paper from every transaction in its own folder in Dropbox, and it's under buyers or listings, and then when it closes, it moves into closed transactions and the year, so we can always go in and look it up. And you can create shared folders, like Nobu was saying. So you can create a folder for that client. Especially, it's really handy with short sale clients because the volume of paperwork. Just create a shared folder that they can then put their stuff in.
We do the same thing. We also keep the HUDs.
Yep.
So next year I'm not mailing them. We're emailing them all via Dropbox.
Yes.
Because that's where we put them all for this year.
Now,
Perfect.
DocuSign has its own individual app, but if anyone heard of DocuSign's transaction rooms?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So transaction rooms actually is a really, really smart way of doing it. So imagine the idea of instead of having to use Dropbox where you have all these individual systems, and it's really a smart way of doing it, but you're doing it per transaction. So if you had a transaction you created online, and not only could you have it per house, but there's also your My Folders. So you have 100 gig of information. You could essentially create like a Dropbox online. So now you have all the information per transaction, and a separate one you could put all your presentations and flyers and disclosures and have it in one place.
Perfect. Awesome. All right, we got to wrap up. We got Mr. Brad Nix coming up. Maura, you going to intro?
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Thank
Thank
you.
you guys.
Thank
Great
you.
job.
Thanks.